Okay, so in this summary functions puzzle, we are given that g of x is x squared, but h of x is equal to negative 2 g of x minus 3 plus 16. And part of the hardest thing students find is reading what this means. Well, I know if you recall, if I know I had g of x was equal to x squared, and I said, well, what is g at 4? Well, then you would just say, oh, 4 squared. And if I said g at O at p, you would say, oh, that's easy, that's just p squared. And if I said, oh, what is g at p plus 1? Well, you would say p plus 1 all squared, because all of these are the x values. But if I then came along and said, oh, I'm going to multiply, I want it to be 4g, then that's going to be 4p plus 1. If I said, oh, what's it's going to be if I had 4g of x plus 1? Well, that means it's going to be 4, well, g of x is x squared plus 1. So we're going to use that idea in here. And so I know that g is x squared, and so I'm going to get negative 2. Well, my g function is x squared, and the x minus 3 goes inside, so it's x minus 3 squared plus 16 just on the end. Because this part here we know is x minus 3 squared, because the x minus 3 goes in for x, and then it's just multiplied by negative 2 and plus 16. So I know that this is my function h of x. And that you should recognize is just a quadratic function. And so we can find the exact x-intercepts, the y-intercept, the vertex. We read the equation is 3, 16. The axis of symmetry is x is equal to 3. The domain, well, I know it's going to be going down. And if I go 3, 16 is here, it's going to be going down. My domain is going to be x is all real numbers. The range is going to be y is less than or equal to 16. Okay, and then to get the exact x-intercepts, well, the easiest thing for me to do is just set this equal to 0. And then do PEMDAS backwards. And I'm going to get not a nice round number, but I'm going to get negative 16 over 2 if I subtract the 16 divided by negative 2. And so x minus 3 squared is equal to 8. So x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 8 if I take the square root of both sides. And so x is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 8, which is, these are the x-intercepts. All right, so finally the y-intercept, all I know is I make the y value 0 here. I make this value 0. 0 minus 3 is negative 3 squared is 9 times negative 2 is negative 18 plus 16 gives me that y-intercept of 0 comma negative 2. And so I can tell my graph is really off. So it's going to be really skinny down here, something like, or like that kind of a scenario here. Get rid of that. Okay, to find the inverse, we switch our x and y values, so it's x is equal to negative 2, y minus 3 squared plus 16, and then we solve for our y value. So I get x minus 16 is negative 2 y minus 3 squared, divide by the negative 2, and then I'm going to take the square root, so it's going to be y minus 3 is equal to the square root of x minus 16 over negative 2 plus or minus, and then I'm going to add the 3, and so I get this plus or minus the square root of x minus 16 over minus 2, and there is my inverse function h minus h to the negative 1. And there's other problems to do, but that's just a place to start. All the full solutions can be found on the extra document, and you can see that the working is all here.